Alright, we are back with another recap video. Changing the format to doing a weekly recap until I have the time to do daily recaps. But I'm definitely gonna just stick to doing weekly recaps for now on. Just condensing all my trades for the week in one video. But here we are, starting off on day 8:05. 8:05. Sorry, I'm pulling out my journal real quick. Okay, here we go. Oh, we're already getting filled and stuff. I'm lacking here. Oh, well, uh, trade got clapped before I even finished the intro. Uh, so uh, as you can tell, I kind of took that trade in what I would call it like a flotation area on the 44 range. There was no point of interest in which was bouncing off of. And then once again, here we are, not bouncing off of an important place of interest on the 44 range. And I think that was my biggest problem with the two trades I took on this day, is that I was really kind of testing the parameters, like I've said in old videos. Oh, well, my one old video. I have a 3, 5, and 15, 30-minute chart opened up on another screen that you can't see. And I was kind of trying to test and see with my strategy, what's more important in the 44 range, points of interest or points of interest off of wicks on my other charts. And what I've come to find is that the 44 range chart really is king. I mean, yeah, I can be playing a wick off of one of those other charts, but as you can clearly tell with these two trades, if those points of interest don't line up with the points of interest on my 44 range chart, then yeah, it just doesn't really work. And then and then yeah, moving on to the next trade here pretty soon. Here we are, flipping on over. Uh, just kind of checking this little range out. As we can tell, I kind of identified a point of level of interest where I have my little orange, yellow, whatever color you see line up there. But you can clearly tell we've wicked off of it twice. We had a really strong rejection off of it earlier, and I feel like we're gonna magnetize towards the 180 and that little support I have up there. Still the same, yeah. And I've kind of identified a new little important level and put in more emphasis on my 44 range chart than my other wicks that you can't see. I try to put it in order there and it gets rejected, so I check my thing to see if I failed my eval, but no, I still have a good amount of range. So I, there you go. I throw in an order. I like that my stop loss is actually, well, here I'm gonna have an arrow. Let me pause this real quick. There you go. I have the arrow up now, and yeah, little strong point of interest right there. Strong rejection, and now I just kind of patiently wait. I also really like how my take profit is. I can kind of tell it's near another strong rejection point. But we got the fill, and now we just kind of patiently wait. We obviously have to bust through that strong little rejection level where my mouse is right there, and then boom, we get the fill. I yeah, that's the whole trade. This is 8, 5, 24. We still end up negative 15.75 points, but at least we don't end up completely red. And we go back up to that little support level that I had. You know, when I take trades, I like to find lots of room for growth on up, give strength to my trade. On to the next. Alright, here we on 8, 7, 24. I have a little level of interest at the bottom right there that you can see, but obviously I have no idea if we'll come down to that at any point today. I just know that if we did, I'd like that area. So because of that, I actually find another area of interest that I like where I'm currently gonna put in an order right now, I think. I love how I've been trying to test this theory that I have of a delta divergence level on a 44 range where we have a small little, almost like a stair step kind of play, or like the typical like up down up kind of play, and then you want to get in on the retrace of that and on the level where you broke out of. The last most recent, I guess what you call it, pretty high, I don't know. Either way, I like how that level looks. With little stair step action that we have. Put in my order, cancel my other one, and just kind of hang out and wait until we finally get filled. I have no idea how long it takes to get filled here. I've been recording this live and just kind of, I cut it up and just decided I'll make some banter over top of it while I wait for the trades to go through. I saw Deadpool and Wolverine, so that was pretty. It's a pretty cool movie. I liked that movie. Ooh, that's something that I didn't realize that I did, that I don't like that I did, which is moving my stop. I'm really trying to keep all my risks reward ratios 1 to 1. So if I come up with a strategy that has a 70% win rate, if it's 1 to 1 and I have a 70% win rate, I should technically always come out on top as long as I stick to my, rules and my brackets here. But we got the fill. Obviously, I mean, the bottom of that little range right there is definitely my invalidation point. I move my stop back up to the bottom of that wick that we just created because I know for a fact that if we break down back below that level and get near that wick and break that wick, then the trade is completely invalidated and we are definitely cooked and are definitely going to drop. We get super duper close to my stop, and it actually looks like, I'm not sure, but I think point of control just flipped on up there. So either two things are gonna happen. We're gonna get the strength and continue to push right on up, or we're gonna rotate lower. Either one of those happens, I keep my stop where it is because I gotta stick to my planet and my invalidation area. We get what looks like another small little hammer forming, which is beautiful because that just gives it so much strength. I have my TP right at that little red wick that you see. Not exactly towards at the top, but near that wick, and I just get trigger happy and get out of the trade a lot earlier than I should have because I got scared. I waited through all of that, went through all of that just to not even let my play out, which is one of those things that I'm really trying to get better at and really trying to allow my plays to play out. Now, yes, of course, sometimes you should manage your trades, but you never want to over manage your trades to where you are taking less profit than you should, and then when the losses come, you're taking more losses than you should, completely throwing out the idea of a 1-to-1 risk ratio with a 70% win rate strategy. It won't work that way because if you're going to take bigger losses than wins, your losses are going to start overbearing your wins. And honestly, that's horrendous and a horrendous feeling. But yeah, that's that trade. Wish I definitely held on longer. Just got spooked out, and 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 yeah, on to the next. Here we are. Next trade, same day, 8/7/24. Is it 8/7/24? I think it's 8/7/24. Yeah, looks like 8/7/24. I'm going back to my previous point of interest that I had and that I liked. Just chilling, waiting for the fill. Here we go. We got the fill again. I love where my stop is at. I love where my TP is at. Just we're at that. TP is at that recent little wick where we got a rejection on up. Where my stop loss is at. I'm gonna pause real quick because the stop loss is right near, or it's below the a wick that I believe would be a nice spot for us to reject, and if we didn't, we're cooked. But I'll go back and put that arrow in for a sec because of another interesting thing that happened. Once again, I did not let my play out, taking less points than I should, so that when I do inevitably lose, it's going to outweigh my wins, and I need to stop doing that. We would have gotten the full fill right here. Obviously, yes, I got a little spooked. I got a little bit scared. But with time, we correct these mistakes, we grow as traders, and we look back, and I record these videos exactly for this reason, to look back and remind myself to just believe. Have confidence in my strategy and what I see, and to let it go as it goes, you know? But yeah, on to the next. Alright, we are here. 8/8/24. I identified a nice little order block on the 1 minute, which gives my trade so much more confidence. That's another one of the things that I've kind of been experimenting on with this strategy, is adding a level of confirmation with order blocks, delta divergence levels or DD levels, and interest points on a 44 range chart. Add all of that together, I have a trade that isn't gonna make me feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack. Yeah. And I mean, I'm just live recording this. I'm just kind of hanging out here while I wait for the trade to finally play out. As we can see, like a trade that I showed you guys earlier, once again, we have some stair-stepping action. Where my orange line is at. Well, not right now, where it was before, but yeah, stair-stepping action, typical V, not V, up, down, up kind of movement on a stock that we like. Another thing that's adding confluence to this long is the fact that we are kind of ripping right now, which kind of is just telling me that we might be in a, grinding up kind of day, which just adds even more confluence to my trade. Honestly, all you need to do with your trades is just keep adding on layers of, not too much though, not too many layers of confluence, because then you're just overthinking and overanalyzing, but enough layers of confluence to give you confidence into your trade. I move my entry up a little bit more because I really want to get on top of that wick. It can really be hit or miss. Sometimes we come down to where the candle, opened and rejected off of that level, and other times we reject right off of that wick. For me personally, because I'm adding this on with an order block that I saw on my 1 minute chart, I'm gonna go off that wick because that's where the wick is on the order block, and we're on a very grindy day. So I would expect us to not have too big of pullbacks, and if we did, it really snag that opportunity. The only thing I don't like about this trade is where my stop loss is at. Yes, we have the stop loss above the wick. I'll put an arrow right now. Sorry, not above, below that wick. But if you look to where my entry is on that stair-stepping action, the stop loss not being below the latest low is not my most favorite, but I'm kind of using that wick over there on the left that I had an arrow on earlier as a little bit more of uh, confirmation that at least my stop loss is below that, and if we that wick will be one of the first lines of defenses. And here I am again, moving my stop below that area, which is not my favorite thing to do, although it is the most logical thing to do, because if we do break that, yes, we're going to the most likely pop down. But it messes up my RR in a way that I now have more risk than I have reward. And with what I'm trying to do is, 70% win rate, 1-1 RR on every trade, it'll mess up my results. And because of the trades I took on 8-7-24 and I cut those early, now I don't even have, you know, the win side outweighing the loss side because I, got scared. But here we go, paying attention to this trade, getting really close to my fill. Just barely missed it. I would be very sad if we didn't get the fill here, but I think we definitely get the fill here. Not the fur, whatever the hell I just said. But boom, look at all that strength coming on through. Easy grind day off the one money order block that you can't see because it's on a different screen. But another thing that's given me confidence in this trade is where you see my 9 SMA line is at. Over the years, I've grown used to when we extend off of that SMA line, we hit a level. I've gotten used to us at least popping and magnetizing back up into that 9 SMA line, just giving me more strength on the trade and confidence. But that kind of thing is something that I just got used to seeing over the years. Two things would happen at that level. Usually either we'll pop up through the SMA or we'll reject off the SMA and yeah, kind of use it as a dynamic support and resistance. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the only trade I take for this day. So we're gonna just move on to the next. Alright, we're here on 8-9-24. As you could see, I've identified a level of interest. We have a little double top. Throw some arrows on the screen where you can identify that double top. The orange line there is as well. But the one thing that I overlooked on this day was number one, I already had a weird feeling about this day. We were moving a little bit weird, very choppy. Definitely could tell that my strategy wasn't really in play on this day. And two, see that orange line over there? Yeah, that orange line is called the VWAP. And we've kind of been chopping around that VWAP all day. And that level of interest where I have identified is really close to that VWAP. So we have a day that I'm not that confident in, a day where we're chopping all day around the VWAP on, And we're close to that VWAP where my entry is. What do you think is gonna happen most likely near that level? Are we going to reject off of where my order is at? Or are we going to magnetize back on down to the VWAP like we have been all day? And I say all day, but it's only what 10:14, so market's only been open for what 45 minutes or so. But from the current patterns, it's what we have. So unfortunately, I did overlook those aspects, and as you may expect, I've already kind of spoiled the ending of this trade. But now I know for the future, if I feel like the day is off and I feel like the day is weird, and I look at these other things, then maybe I shouldn't try and force that trade. Something else that I noticed looking back on that trade, which is actually going to slowly start forming right here, is we kind of form like an M double top, like almost like I kind of, when I see these kinds of formations, I kind of look at it as like a mountain. It kind of forms like a little mountain. Oh, maybe a heads and shoulders pattern. Maybe that's what it's called. I don't know. And typically, when this kind of pattern starts to form, we retrace, you know, the peak of the mountain back on down to the midpoint of the mountain, or where today is at is VWAP, and it looks beautiful looking back at it, but obviously in the moment your mind is in a completely different place. But looking back at it, yeah, I it was I had a weird feeling about this trade as is already, but because I'm trying to build parameters around my strategy, I I, I had to take it. I wanted to try it and I want to see what happened. But I did overlook the VWAP circumstances, that's for sure. I might just skip this, bro. I have nothing to talk about. What I'm gonna do, just sit here and oh wait, I think we get the fill here soon. Bless me. Did we get the fill here soon? I think we get the fill here soon. Yeah, we get the fill here soon. Here we are, getting the fill. And another thing I don't like is where my stop is at. I mean, look where my stop is at. It's not even close to the bottom of the latest low, and we just boom, fly right through my stop. And actually, unfortunately, almost kind of bottom tick right there. But we don't even end up getting the strength off of that, and I'm pretty sure we just magnetize straight down back into VWAP. And yeah, that's the last trade of the week. That wraps it up for the week. 8, 9, 24, minus 15 on this day. I'll put up a point total at the end of the video for the week, and definitely put it in the thumbnail. But yeah, overall, I mean, a green week and one day not traded, so seems good to me. GG's, boys.